They grew up together. They attended the same schools, played the same sports, and now they even teach together. You're listening to DC and DH on the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast.
All right, guys, welcome into another podcast. We have a awesome guest joining us today. This is Ryan Christopher with Resurrection, a Journey tribute band. And these guys play all over the place. They're kind of out of the Franklin area, around Nashville area is where they're kind of home based out of. And I've had the pleasure of actually seeing these guys several times. And I'm going to tell you guys, you're not going to get a better show from anybody else than these guys. Ryan, how are you guys doing?
Hey, not too bad at all, man. Thanks so much for having me on your show today.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's been a thrill. I've been wanting to try to get you guys on for a good while. Just admire just tremendous musicians. Fabulous. Let me ask this first. How did you guys get started with this deal?
That's probably the first question I get on most.
I bet.
But it's actually a really cool thing. So
yeah.
Back in 2005, I wasn't in any kind of band whatsoever. I had just come off of doing kind of pop and cover band type rock acts, and so I went to karaoke in 2005, and there happened to be a karaoke competition going on. This was in Clarksville, Tennessee, just up the road from Nashville.
Yep.
And so I happened to have one of my friends ask me to do Don't Stop Believing. And it was a tall order. I had sang a lot of rock and done a lot of cover stuff over, probably a 7 or 8 year period, but I'd never touched Journey. And it scared the living daylights out of me that when they requested it. So long story short, I get up there, I do the song, I get a standing ovation, which is a big deal in the karaoke club. Nobody cares about the guy singing. They just want to get their drink or talk to the girl next to them, and that's how it is.
Right.
But I had a standing ovation. I won the competition that night, and happened to get a phone call from a friend of the family, actually, at that time. And they were like, hey, I've got this studio in my living room. Would you like to come and record a couple of songs? Maybe it might bring you, some success in Nashville. You could shop it around.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm working an IT job, and I don't even know what I'm capable of at this point. And so we do that demo in his living room, and he shops it around, introduces me to a guitar player friend of his. From 2006 until 2013, I had my first Journey tribute, and that was Chain Reaction, a tribute to Journey. It was based out of Clarksville. We did a lot of stuff, went to Branson, Missouri, had a lot of fun.
Wow.
But I could not balance the full-time job and the management of the project by myself. I just couldn't do it. And I say this on stage sometimes, and it makes people cringe, but I did what every Journey tribute singer should never do, and I stopped believing. But I was about to go back to the full-time job. This is October of 2013, and I made a phone call to our keyboardist with Resurrection, my business partner, our band leader, Vic White. And Vic said, I know you've got 4 shows left to fill. You've got 4 contracts, and then you said you're out. But can you just let me ride with this thing for about a year? Give me a year and a half. I guarantee I'm going to make something of this. And I said, all right. So we finished those 4 shows. He brought in a bunch of Nashville A-listers. We played with the likes of Rich Eckhart from Toby Keith fame. We played with George Hawkins Jr. on bass, who played with everybody, Fleetwood Mac. He even co-wrote with Steve Perry on some of his solo stuff. Jim Handley, who actually worked with Journey from 2001 to 2008. We've had so much talent in this band. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And in 2018, I actually quit my 25-year IT career and did this thing full time. So we have been on fire ever since. It's been one of the greatest joys and the greatest adventures of my life. And I'm so thankful to everybody that's been a part of it, just to bring it to fruition. So
Wow. All right. What is your main objective with your show? What do you want people that come out to take a listen? What do you want them to get out of it?
I'm going to tell you what we don't want to get out of it.
Yeah.
We don't care about ego. This band is not about what it does for us.
Yeah.
It's what it does for all of the fans. We found a niche since 2006, since I started that first Journey tribute. I didn't really understand what it was all about. I knew people loved Journey.
Right.
I had the ability to deliver it, or at least everybody said I did, so I believed them. And I didn't really understand what was happening until Vic came into the project, until we started playing in front of huge crowds. Our first year together in 2014, we were on Royal Caribbean cruise ships and headlining in their theaters, and it was absolutely amazing. The next year, we were in Chicago playing for the Chicago White Sox, about 40,000 fans. We were sitting on second base. It was the biggest crowd I've ever played for in my life. But what I'm trying to get to is there's so many people out there that Journey is not just a band they listen to. The songs that Journey created are so timeless that they connect each listener to the memory of their past, whatever it may be. And this is even happening to some of this newer generation that's getting into Journey for the first time. They're realizing that the lyrics to the songs and just the general feel of what they wrote was supposed to connect with you on more than just a listening level.
Yeah.
And really, that's the greatest thing that we get out of this, and me personally, is the joy on people's faces and the stories that they share. I've had people come up to me and say, "Hey, you brought me back to 1979, and I'm sitting with my girlfriend, and we're at the drive-in, and whatever." And then I've had others that have come to me and said, "Faithfully was mine and my husband's greatest, song. We love that song, and he died, and this is all I have to remember." Like, we connect to people on such an emotional level.
Yeah.
That's what it's truly about now. So, but we just want to deliver the greatest Journey tribute experience possible. We want people to sit down, and whether they have their eyes open or closed, give them that feeling like they're seeing Steve Perry with Journey in 1980.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And that kind of leads me into the next thing as well for you. Went and seen Journey last week there at Bridgestone in Nashville.
Cool.
And I was interested in the makeup of the audience.
Okay.
And you've kind of touched on it already, where it's just different age groups.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just curious if y'all are getting the same kind of responses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the best way to describe it is when we go to amphitheaters, or if we play at like a local theater in a city, those are the places that we see the most diverse crowds. I can't really say if we're at a fair or a festival or, one of those things, because it is kind of hey, you're going to have all those people there anyway, but people that are actually buying a ticket to come see the band. I've seen kids as young as 5, 6 years old in the front with their parents singing along. I mean, it's crazy. I've seen people that are in their 80s coming up at the autograph table and either A, knowing who Journey is and saying, "Hey, you guys are great," or B, I don't even know who Journey is. I've got season tickets to this theater, and I happen to pop in to see what this is all about. You guys are amazing, and this is awesome. And they're discovering it for the first time at the end of their life. It's like, oh my gosh. So it is truly for all ages, as are all of our shows. It's not the typical band experience. It's really taking a trip back in a time machine.
Yeah. And if you just want to touch on that a little bit more, and that's another thing I wanted to ask you about is,
sure,
what with their music? I mean, what is the key to that hangs around for everybody like that?
That's the great question, isn't it? And I don't know if I can really answer it, because I think I'd have to be sitting down with Steve Perry or Neil Sean, Jonathan Cain, the guys that wrote the music.
Sure.
I'd have to sit down with them and ask them, like, what was it for you in that writing experience? What brought you to that place where you said, "I'm going to write something that was universal"? Or was it simply you were writing based on your experiences, and your experiences are so in touch with just the human condition?
Yeah.
They relate. But I will tell you this much. In my opinion, there's a lot of music out there. There's a ton of music. There's a ton of great rock music. If
Yeah.
you look at stuff like Aerosmith in Boston, Kansas, Foreigner, Styx, you just name it. There's so much great music from that era, and all of them have their own hits and things that people remember. But Journey has something special about it. They're talking about love. They're talking about romance. They're talking about, being disconnected from someone and rediscovering that person. And even some of their later material. One of my favorite songs of the Arnel Pineda years has been After All These Years.
Yes.
If you go and listen to the lyrics of the music, it's the faithfully for the people that have grown up and are in their 60s. You know what I mean? That have survived and that have had relationships since high school or whatever. But it's just for me, Journey is truly about writing original, universal concepts that everybody can understand and everybody can apply to their own lives.
Yeah.
That's the secret, I think.
Awesome. Has any of the original members seen you guys or listened to you guys?
Yeah, hopefully I don't get in too much trouble. I have a tendency to be a little loose-lipped sometimes, so I might get yelled at from my business partner later. But I will tell you this much: we have met Dean Castronovo face to face. We played an event with him out in California, which is really cool. He kind of popped in and along with Jim Hanley. Jim Hanley, of course, was his drum tech during those years, so they're on really close terms. So I got a chance to meet him. We did go to see Journey at the, I'm going to mess this up. It's the amphitheater in, my goodness, in San Francisco, North Park. No, I can't remember the name of the amphitheater. I'm so sorry. But we went to see them, and we had backstage passes. And I wish
fantastic. Yeah.
I gave him the backstage pass first because we had to show him. He goes in and he meets, I don't know, he met Arnel and he met Ross Valerie and a couple of other folks. And he comes back out to give me the pass, and they were already taking the stage. And I was like, oh, no, I missed my opportunity. The last story I'll tell is probably the coolest one. Jim Hanley, when he was drumming for us, he happened to get a phone call, and this is a couple of years ago. He got a phone call from his good friend, who was a drummer living out in California. The name is going to pop into my head any second. But anyway, he had a good friend of his who was a drummer, lived out in California, who happened to give him a call and say, hey, Jim, I've got somebody that wants to talk to you. And so he hands this guy the phone, and Jim says, hello. And Jim, is that you? Yeah, it's me. Who is this? Oh, it's Steve. Steve who? Steve Perry. So Steve Perry's on the phone with Jim, and he asked Jim, he says, listen, I've been seeing some of your videos. Oh, and there's the drummer's name. His friend was Craig Cramp. Craig was the drummer on O'Sherry.
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
Okay.
Anyway, so Craig hands the phone to Steve. Steve's talking to Jim, and he says, listen, Craig's showing me some video footage of the band. I just want to let you know that it's truly nostalgic what you guys are doing. And I was like, that's it.
That's all you had to hear. Yeah.
I told my wife, who's also our booking manager and merchandise manager, all the above. I just told her, I said, if I leave this earth today, I'm completely satisfied with the fact that Steve Perry has seen this band. And that's all I could ask for.
That is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So other than that, we haven't had an opportunity to meet anybody face to face. We've had some conversations with Neil Sean, very brief, some over social media. But yeah, that's about it. So if we ever had the opportunity, I'd love to shake all their hands. I mean,
absolutely.
As any fan watching this program probably would too.
Sure. And here's what I admire about you guys. There's some of this stuff out there, tribute band wise, that I don't know. They don't give it the right justice, I think. I don't know if that's the wording I'm looking for, but I don't know. Kind of, they have fun with it, but kind of make fun of it as well. Does that make little sense? But when you can tell the passion that you guys have for it, and what you want to spread that to other people, which is just phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, there are a lot of Journey tributes. Most folks that are not connected to the tribute market don't really understand it, but there's about 30. At least there were 30 at one time in this country, and there's a lot of different regions that they play in.
Yeah.
You're right. There are a lot of different levels of talent. There's a lot of different types of bands. Some will only say, well, we're just going to cover the music of Journey. We're not going to dress like them. Others will dress like them, but like you said, it's more of a parody than it is really a tribute experience. So
Exactly.
I've learned over these last, 16 years that a tribute band really encompasses everything about the band. You play the music as it was written or as it was done live by the band. And when you do that, you try to stay in character and focused on it. So we're not perfect. I tell you that. There's a lot of times we break character and we're having so much fun that we forget where we are. But it's really about being able to have people look at the stage, look at the presentation, listen to the music, and feel transported back in time. That's what it's all about.
I want to say that at one of the performances that I caught you guys at, that you did during part of your deal, you had you went live with Facebook or something, where what was cool to me was this. Okay, I'm in the crowd enjoying this moment, but you're allowing it for someone else that wasn't there to enjoy the moment.
Yes.
That's pretty darn cool. Talk about that a little bit, how that came about, doing that.
It's interesting. I mean, thanks to Facebook for that. I mean, their
Sure.
technology was amazing, and it's a touchy subject for us because you have to have certain licensing when you're doing certain materials. So if we're doing a live performance, for example, 9 times out of 10, in fact, 99% of the time, the rights for the songs that we're performing is being paid by the club or the venue or whoever's putting on the event. That's their responsibility. But I've learned a lot. So that's physical performances. Mechanical rights. Mechanical rights are like if we sell a CD or an album. Like we have an album that we came out with called Raised on Journey, and we put 13 tracks on it that were Journey's greatest hits. And so there's a certain amount of licensing and cost that goes into that. But the third thing is streaming. So Facebook, technically, when you're on Facebook Live, is streaming. So it's a really sticky subject for us. But since Facebook does offer that, and we do take advantage of it when we can, we like to be able to take that live material and we like to be able to put it out there for the fans that can't make it. So it is really cool for a song or two, not the entire concert.
Sure.
And believe it or not, I think it's a really good advertising piece for us too, because you got a lot of people that are sitting at home and they're skeptical. I've had people wait 4 or 5 years to see the band.
Okay.
And they finally come to a show and they'll be like, yeah, I see you all the time. And I see these space bands. And I finally just had to come and see this for myself. And that's the best part about it. If I usually do during these interviews, I usually try to make a point to call out the skeptics. If you're sitting at home and you're listening to this interview, or you pop over to the website, notjourney.com, and you're checking out videos and you're like, there's no way this is possible. Every skeptic out there, they're the ones we want in the seats.
Yeah.
Because changing a person's heart when they see the show for the first time it's priceless.
Yeah.
It's priceless. So so Facebook's great. They've created an incredible service with what they do with Facebook Live. And it's been a joy to bring it to the fans.
Yes. And I want to say also, maybe I'm wrong on this, but correct me if I am. I want to say someone actually during part of y'all's performance actually asked someone to marry them.
Oh yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
okay. Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. Bands, we get this all the time. Hey, it's my birthday. Hey, it's my anniversary.
Sure.
I'd like to ask my girlfriend to be my fiance. I mean, but yeah, it's happened actually probably 5 or 6 times over the course of the band. And fortunately for us, we got a perfect record. They always said yes. So there's always
There you
that
go.
fear that, wait a minute, what if she says
Well,
no?
what do we do? Yeah, what do we do after that? Yeah,
We're
yeah,
gonna have to go into separate ways. You're like, way
right. That's right. That's right. Okay, well, Ryan, give us a rundown of some of the stuff going on currently with you guys.
Sure, sure. You know what? There, and my wife, who's our booking manager, she has like this incredible head. She's got all the dates up there.
Sure.
But I know we have a ton of stuff coming up. We got 60 dates on the calendar till the end of the year right now. I just found out from her that last weekend, that was my last Saturday until Christmas. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so we're gonna be flying this summer. It's really gonna push. And but we got a lot of stuff. This coming weekend, we're gonna be in Indian Land, South Carolina. We've got a private party up there we're doing. Then we're
Okay.
turning around and we're gonna be on Saturday. We're gonna be in Calhoun, Georgia, at a place called the Gem Theater. We've played that several times, probably 5 or 6 times now.
Okay.
So that's just kind of what's happening over the course of the next couple weeks. We've got gigs in Florida, we've got gigs in Texas, we've got gigs, I mean, just literally Michigan, Wisconsin, all over the place. Of course, we're going to be in Tennessee. We play at Third and Lindsley about every 2 months. And I'm trying to think, let's see, April, it's May. I think our next date at Third and Lindsley, off the top of my head, I think it's June 16th.
That's sounding right.
Yeah, so anybody that's interested, they can buy
Yep.
tickets. They're going to go quick. We have folks that'll wait till the last week to buy tickets.
Is it a small? I've never been to that one. Is it a small venue?
So Third and Lindsley, it used to be. So I went there the first time in like 2000, what was it, 10 maybe?
Okay.
I just walked in the door and I was like, oh wow, this is a really small place. You know,
Okay.
maybe 200 people could fit in here. Well, since then, they bought the place next to them. They knocked down the wall.
There we go. Okay.
And, so we have an average of about 500 to 550 people at our show.
Okay.
There's about 400 seats, so figure that math out.
Yep. Yep.
Come early. We have people outside, usually about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, waiting in line. So it gets
Sure.
pretty crazy. But it's probably the best place in Nashville to see us, and I say that only because we do a 2.5-hour presentation. So
Oh wow. Okay.
longer than our average show. When we're out on the road and we're doing 3 in a row, it's usually
Yeah.
about 90 minutes and then get to the next city. So
Sure.
the other place we're going to be playing, I was talking to you off camera.
Yep.
Right
Yep.
down the road in Columbia, Tennessee, we're going to be playing at the Mule House. And I want to say that's coming up sometime at the end of this month. But again, I'm not the one to remember dates. So if
Sure.
your listeners and your watchers are interested, they'll go to notjourney.com/tour. And all of our dates are out there. And they can
Yep.
also go to Facebook and look up Resurrection and Journey Tribute. We've got all our dates out there as well.
Yeah, and we've got you. We've posted some information about you being on our Twitter account, and I know y'all have that too. So we will, my friend, push that stuff out for you.
Thank you.
And man, it's been a thrill to meet you. I've wanted to do that for a long time, and I actually corresponded with you, with an email here and there after some shows as well. Just blown away with the talent, man. So. It's been an honor to have you on, and we will definitely give you a shout out when we get to see you in person again as well.
Yeah, please do. I was going to say,
Yeah.
for you guys on the show,
Yeah.
next time you're in town and you're at the
Yep.
event or whatever,
Yep.
usually if you walk up to our merch booth,
Yeah.
they've got a direct line. It's either going to be my wife Pam, or we've got another guy that sells on the road with us, Donnie, another guy named Jamie. But whoever,
Okay.
just walk up and tell them you're there, and
Yeah.
I'd love to connect with you guys. That'd be great.
Yeah, love to get a chance to speak to you guys and meet you guys. Awesome.
Sounds good.
Okay, Ryan, best to you. Be safe out on the road, and we look forward to seeing some shows this summer.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Okay, all right. That'll be it, guys. We want to thank Ryan again. Resurrection, a tribute to Journey. And that's truly what it is, guys. It is a definite tribute. These guys are the best. They really, really are. So everybody take care, and we'll check you out next time. Be safe and keep playing the 80s. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.